thank you all for coming, and as I say at all of my teacher programs and educator events here at the museum, you all are my favorite people. I came out of the classroom, I know what's going on, and I appreciate the thinking and the thoughts that come out of this room, and we appreciate you being here. My name is Jason Moodie. I am currently the school or the teacher programs manager here at the Museum of Fine Arts, soon to be changed, and I can never remember my new title, so I'll have to update you in the new year when that happens. But we are so pleased to have you, and again would love to extend the hospitality that hopefully you got this morning, and that you were able to tone down from the traffic that you ran into this morning. I know we were just talking, it normally takes me 20 minutes to get here, and it took me an hour and 40 minutes this morning. So just put your phones down when you're all driving on 288, because I want to get here to work. I like my job, I like what I do, so I'd like to get here as quickly as possible. I do want to bring to your attention a few things just to start off this morning. Education is a big deal for us all, obviously. Education is a big deal for the Museum of Fine Arts. It is probably the single most driving factor of bringing visitors into the museum. Last year we saw somewhere around 30,000 third graders coming into the museum. What a wonderful opportunity to have these students come in and experience the artwork that we have. Our programs alone in the education, well now the Learning and Interpretation Department, just going over statistics yesterday, somewhere over 50,000 students were able to come in and experience the museum. Education is a big deal. The whole child is a big deal. And giving them the opportunity to not only experience art, but experience the world in a new way is really our driving force. Now with that said, there are many educators in the room and many educated thinkers and administrators in the room. I would like to announce a few opportunities that we have for educators here. Coming up December 2nd, so just a couple of weeks away, we have our final evenings for educators for this calendar year, and we'll go into again in January. But December 2nd, our evenings for educators will focus on cultural exchange, our Korea, the Chosun Dynasty collection that we have up. That is an evening from 5:30 to 8:30, and we do offer credit for that. So I know a lot of teachers are in need for that. We also have some upcoming activities for teachers on Saturdays. This coming Saturday is Monet on the Seine. That will be a teacher learning through art opportunity. And we also have our symposium coming up. That is the Golden Age of European Art, 50 years of the Sarah Campbell Blaffer Foundation collection. So there are many opportunities for educators to gain some more knowledge that they can pass on to their students. But with that, again, I thank you all for taking the time out of your day to come and have some wonderful words given to you, and some great breakfast given to you, and some wonderful opportunity to visit. But with that, I welcome you, and I will turn the time over to Karen Rawls from Chevron.
I want to welcome you to the English Challenge Breakfast Series. You're in for a real treat today. We had a little sneak preview of Dr. Jayne-Ann's presentation last night, and by the way, my son said you were spot on with your homework. So she'll enlighten you a little bit on that. But education is very important to Chevron. In fact, it's one of our social investment pillars. And this is just a continuation of that. So today you're in for a real treat. Dr. Jayne-Ann is going to present her findings from Australia and the United States on some research that she's done over the last few years. So to kick off today's session, I would like to welcome Executive Director of English Challenge, Dr. Scott Beck.
So we couldn't do this without some very strong partners, and you heard from two representatives of some very important partners to Houston A+ Challenge whenever we put on speaker series. first Chevron, I think this is maybe the 5th or 6th season of Speaker Series at Chevron. It started back in 2009 with their sponsorship. And so we want to thank not only Karen Rawls, but Joni Baird and her team at Chevron to bring these types of thought leaders to Houston, Texas. Also, how great is it that we're able to learn in a beautiful auditorium such as the Brown Auditorium here at the Museum of Fine Arts. We're very lucky to have a partnership not only with this museum, but with most museums in the Museum District through a school that we launched about a year ago called A+ Up. This speaker series is intended to allow you as Houstonians, as folks who are supportive of education, to think, learn from some of the best thought leaders around the world. And today is no different. We also want to thank specifically Kat Hastings and Jason Moodie for all of their support as we have planned today's event here at the Museum of Fine Arts. Are there any A+ board members in the audience? Bill, you want to stand up? This is Bill Crouch. He's the chair of the Houston A+ Challenge Board. We have 22 board members, very engaged around the work of public school leadership and public school teachers throughout the Houston region. We also want to thank all of you because your presence here means that you support not only the work of Houston A+, but also the commitment to never give up on public education in this city or in this country. So, how many of you all know Bob Marzano? You know of his work. So I thought I was a pretty smart guy, and I was a big Bob Marzano follower. Because what was interesting about Marzano is he had done these meta-analysis of research. And I thought I was pretty much in the know, as I usually do. Until I heard of a guy named John Hattie. And if you haven't heard of John Hattie, Jayne-Ann is going to talk about him this morning. But Jayne-Ann has worked with John over the past several years. I think it would be fair to say that what John has done around education research has blown Bob Marzano out of the water. He has taken a look at, I don't know, maybe twice the number of meta-analysis studies as Marzano. So one of the things I want you to think about today is that Jayne-Ann is going to talk about some real, well-researched, high-yield strategies coming from these meta-analysis. And what I want you to think about is, so last night when I was listening to her, it just makes so much sense. But the truth is, when we walk into American classrooms, many of these high-yield strategies not only are not being used, they're not being endorsed by anyone inside the school or inside the district. So that's going to lead me to my first question, and it was my question last night. Why don't we do what we know is right? So Jayne-Ann is going to help us with that. Jayne-Ann Young works with Visible Learning, works with John Hattie. She's from New Zealand. She's a delightful school leader. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest from New Zealand, Dr. Jayne-Ann Young. Jayne-Ann.